Robbie, welcome back to the show, man.
Dude, number one, thank you. Number two, I don't know if anybody realized this or you probably do, but I remember speaking to you and I think we hashed this out the last time we were together, but I was in my truck at the University of Arkansas's campus doing like a Society of Wetland Scientists conference, and I was like, I need to go and take this call like in the truck, and I think we actually recorded the audio for that segment of the podcast of your podcast back then.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I remember that.
Like
I don't know
2017, 2018.
when did Blood Origin start?
We released our first piece of content October 17.
Okay.
So I think it's 18 in that time
Yeah.
frame, 18, 19. Jeez,
hmm
it's been amazing.
I had more hair then. You don't have the beard right now, but I noticed last time I saw you a little more gray in the
Oh,
beard.
I got gray everywhere, man. Everyone looks at me now and they're like, look at these old videos of you. You don't have any gray. And I was like,
Conservation's tough work, man. It'll take its toll.
the antes will take its toll on you. And I will say internally into the hunting community will also take its toll on you.
Yeah. Yeah, there's no doubt.
But
Well,
you're looking luscious. Your hair is long and
oh,
maybe you just haven't
well,
been to
yeah.
the
What hair I have
hairdresser yet.
left? But I
Yeah.
do have this nice
Oh, you
this
got a buzz. You got a little fade on the over
redneck
the
mullet.
ears.
Yeah, my wife hates it, and every time she opens her mouth about it, I'm going to leave it for like another week. So
Wow.
yeah,
Well,
it was my turkey hunting. I just was like, I'm going to do a stupid mullet for turkey season, and then I got so much hate from my family. I was like, fine, I'm just going to keep rocking it for. I'm gonna wear it to the beach for family vacation next week, just to embarrass you guys.
you definitely decided to go the opposite route of
Yeah,
listening.
keep your mouth shut. Yeah. Anyway, um, I know you've been busy. You said you're at home for a little while now.
Super busy.
You're about to go on family vacation.
Family vacation. Yep.
Yeah, and I always get this wrong. You're in Missouri or Mississippi?
Actually, you were right. I was in Mississippi for
Okay,
forever, 20 odd years, and we moved to Memphis. So all the M's, you got the M's right. So we
okay.
moved to Memphis, Tennessee, 3 years ago.
Oh, all right,
That's when I
all right.
started taking this, that is now the Origins Foundation, used to be called Blood Origins full time.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Um, I was in Memphis last week. I didn't know you were
What?
there. Yeah, I mean, we didn't stay, but
You go to the pyramid?
I love Tennessee.
Yeah.
Obviously, we spend a lot of time in Nashville for the SCI show every year. We're there.
Hmm.
Um,
Phenomenal show.
yeah,
Absolutely just, it's just blowing the doors off every year. Every year, the doors just get blown off
mm,
harder.
yeah. But no, we went to the Smoky Mountains and
Fantastic.
did. We went to Smoky Mountains National Park. My
Did you
wife
do
and
Cade's
kids.
Cove?
Yes, yeah, we saw some
Nice.
bears there. Yeah, it was
Nice.
awesome. We had a bear outside of the house we rented, and you could tell the people that in my family that had never seen a bear because they were the ones screaming, "Bear! There's a bear! Everybody, look at the bear!" I'm like, shut up,
Yeah.
just be quiet and just watch the thing. Like,
Yeah. We saw a bear in Nashville on the putt-putt course.
oh wow,
Downtown, and not in Nashville, sorry, in Gatlinburg.
yeah, Gatlinburg, yeah.
Yep.
Did you do the hillbilly golf, the one that's up on the
Yeah,
mountain?
that's where the
Yeah,
bear was. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. That's the one we did too. It was awesome, and it was
It-
shaded.
oh, yeah,
So
exactly. If it's
yeah, I
pumping
mean it's
hot, exactly.
July, and so we usually go to Galveston with my wife's family,
Mm.
and they're like, we want to do something different.
Well,
And
let's go
there's
to
a
the cool mountains.
yeah, it was awesome. But there's a putt putt course in Galveston, and it's 100 degrees, and there's no shade, and it's my
Mm.
son's favorite thing. Why we have putt putt courses all over Dallas Fort Worth? We don't need to go to Galveston to play putt putt, but that's like the thing. We made the mistake of doing it one year, so every year we have to do it again.
Mm.
And I was like, Henry, this is putt putt, man. You're in the shade in the mountains at 70 degrees. Forget that Galveston thing. We'll never do that again.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
yeah. But no, we saw some bears. We did some cave exploring. We went to Tuckaleechee Caverns. That was super cool. And we did Dollywood.
Nice.
And
Staple.
I had this in my head. Like I've never been to Graceland, Elvis's estate
Hmm.
or whatever. But I thought Dollywood was gonna be something like that. Like it's like, oh, look at Dolly's records, and you see
Hmm.
some memorabilia. Oh, it was like the best theme park I've ever been to. The roller coasters were sick. I was like, I didn't know this was what Dollywood was. Like, yeah, I would have signed up for this a long time ago.
Hilarious.
Yeah, it was cool.
I'm glad you enjoyed yourself.
Yeah,
Tennessee's a great state.
it is. And we didn't stop at the Pyramid, the DU headquarters / Bass Pro Shop there.
Mm.
Drove by it as you cross over the Mississippi, of course. But yeah, I wish we
Have
would
you
have.
ever been inside it?
No,
It's
no.
great. It's great. It's got like big cypress trees, fake cypress trees in the bottom. It's got alligators and sturgeon and
Yeah.
trout and restaurant at the top. It's a
Yeah.
hotel as well. You can stay there the
Oh,
night.
I know. We looked at how expensive it was, and we're like,
Oh.
yeah.
We'll keep
Well,
going.
yeah, I think Holiday Inn Express sounds better.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's cool. What's on your as far as hunting goes?
Mm.
Before we talk about big cats, which is what we're going to do
Mhm.
today, primarily. First of all, what's on your North American bucket list?
I don't let people, I'm very, very self-conscious of letting people know that I actually hunt. Okay.
Mm.
I'm very self-conscious because I run a nonprofit. There's perceptions that go around with going, running a nonprofit. They're like, oh, you're just hunting all the time. No, I don't get to hunt. So when I do get to hunt, I want to keep it private. I want to keep it like, okay, this is my time kind of
Uh-huh.
scenario. And I guess it's safe to say now, in 2024, I was very lucky to draw one of, I think, three non-resident archery bull elk tags in Oregon,
Mm.
Northeast Oregon. So I've killed a very, very nice archery elk. I've also killed a nice bull with a rifle. Um, one thing I haven't done is antelope. I've always been
Uh,
interested in doing a pronghorn, and I did it, Cable. I had it down pat. I had 7 points in Wyoming. I had 7 points in Montana. I was going to do this road trip. I knew exactly where I was hunting in Wyoming, and they were back-to-back seasons. So I was going to do this epic road trip out of then Mississippi all the way up. I was going to stay at different places, and then something happened at the work the work that I was the job that I was doing then, and had to cancel the trip, and I lost all 14 points.
Oh,
Yeah,
oh man. Yeah,
yeah,
that's tragic.
yeah.
That's
So pronghorn, and a black bear, but I think I'm going to kill a black bear in Alberta next year. I'm going to
hmm.
go. I'm going to take my boys to Alberta to black bear hunt, and I think the oldest would probably be interested in killing one. The youngest may be like, I don't want to kill a black bear. But there'll
Yeah.
be a shit ton of fishing and stuff like that we can do there. So
Oh yeah.
that's it.
Walleye.
Bucket list in North America.
Yeah. Okay.
Pronghorn.
Heck yeah.
Not very exciting, but
Well, it's cool though. I mean, so I shot that bear in Alberta.
oh yeah,
The
nice.
first bear hunt I ever went on. Lots of bears. And people like want to complain about, oh well, Alberta is not spot and stalk. You're going to be sitting in a tree, and yeah, you are because you're in the middle of the boreal forest, and you're never going to see a bear unless you're baiting it.
hmm
So get over it.
I'm totally okay with that. I have been in the Maine wilderness. I've hunted 3 seasons. I've sat in a tree stand for probably 85 plus hours, and I've seen a cub. So I'm
Oh,
ready.
that's terrible.
I am ready to see a lot of black bears
Yeah.
and choose a black bear.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I've done all three: spot and stalk, sit in a tree, and run them with hounds, and all three were wonderful.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Um, the the one that we ran with hounds was the one that I thought tasted the best, just based off the fact that it was a fall bear in New Mexico. The spring bears, yeah, a little
Little
rougher.
gamey.
Actually, the Alberta ones, they were like, you don't want to eat these,
Mm.
and you bait them with rancid beaver tails.
Oh man.
And you think about it, an animal that comes out of hibernation, what is it eating? It's eating the stuff that froze. It's decaying and it's disgusting.
Whatever it can get its hands or paws on, it's
Yeah,
gonna eat it.
yeah. And then a spring bear, they don't weigh them because they're like you're not gonna like the animal's lost 40% of its body weight in
Mm.
hibernation,
Mm.
and you just measure the skull. That's what tells you the quality of the bear, and that's what Boone and Crockett, that's how you score a bear, not by weight. So I bet if you go in the spring, they'll be like, it might not, the scale might not do the bear justice, right? Because there's a time when it's probably
Yeah,
150 pounds or more bigger.
yeah, yeah, for sure.
Um, but well, that's cool. So black bear, that'd be super awesome. And although you lost all your points, hopefully you started building them again because you don't need a lot of points for pronghorn in some states.
No, no,
Wyoming,
I'm
Montana.
slowly starting. We're just so
Oh,
busy with what we do. I just got to remember to put in for points and whatnot. And luckily, I'll tell you this, Wyoming is quite amazing. Wyoming let me know that I had I have not had, I have 10 elk points.
hmm.
And if you do not submit for a preference point this year, you're going to lose them all. I was
Why?
like, oh,
Oh, because you
oh,
hadn't done it in a
two
couple of
years.
years.
I hadn't
Yeah,
done it in
yeah.
2 years. This is my second year. I was like, oh my gosh.
That
And
would be
so,
tragic. Oh,
I've got 11 points now,
yeah. There you
12
go.
points this year. So
Yeah. Very
that'll be the
cool.
last elk that I shoot, probably, is the Wyoming one.
Yeah. Why is that? You
I
just
got
been
other
there, done
things.
that, do
Yeah,
something
I want to
else?
hunt other things. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
I don't know. See, I like elk hunting so much that I want to do it every year. As a Texan, that might be weird for people to hear that, but archery elk hunting it doesn't
Oh,
get any better.
unbelievable. Like I've only experienced it that once in Oregon, and it was everything that you like watch TV shows watching, right? It's the Jurassic Park. The bugling is insane. It's
Mm.
everything it's true. It's true. It's good. But I
Yeah.
could also see like red stags roaring on the Scottish Highland being about the same time of the year, or red stags in France or Bulgaria, or.
Small stags there compared to like New Zealand or Argentina. But I'm just saying, as someone who's been to Argentina, I haven't been to New Zealand, and the reason why is I was going back to the SCI show. I'm pricing. I want to go kill a red stag,
Mm,
and I'm doing my research. I'm talking to every red stag outfitter there. I'm like, New Zealand's twice as expensive. What is the quality of the stag in Argentina? And
yeah.
there are places that where you're going to shoot a 240 like you would in Bulgaria or the Scottish Highlands.
Hmm.
Now, going to Scotland and staying in a castle and doing that whole thing and mixing
Yeah.
in some red stag hunting, that's the experience, right? But like,
That's right. Ponies on the hill. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I get that too. I might want to do that.
Yeah.
But Argentina, they're getting a little too big for their britches. They're starting to up the prices and think that they're New Zealand now. So let me tell you, I don't
Yeah.
know. I told my outfitter, I've had two wonderful hunts there, taking a group each time. It's been amazing. The food, the hunting, the roar, everything phenomenal. But I'm like, your price has gone up 50% in 3 years.
Oof. Really?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So, I mean,
And
they
these are
have
free range red stags, right? These are not the pen stags, or these are
these
the
are
pen
free. They
stags.
have a 1,000 acre high fence, and they have
Mm,
12,000 acres free range where you can also hunt black buck and Asiatic water buffalo and all these other things.
gotcha.
But the reason why I went with them originally is because they juiced the genetics on the free range. They just started turning out bred hinds, and I was like, okay, well, so it's free range. Yeah, you played the game a little bit and tweaked the
Mm,
genetics, but I don't care.
mm.
I'm fine with it. Great for me. But
Well,
yeah,
talking about that, I think something that may interest you, if you're interested in doing something hard, because this is probably going to be the hardest hunt you'll ever do. Today, when is this podcast dropping? It's later this week.
later this week. So today we're recording on the 13th. It'll air this weekend.
Okay. Well, big news out of New Zealand today, right now. The Minister of Hunting and Fishing, there's only one Minister of Hunting and Fishing in the world. It's out of New Zealand. His name's
Oh,
James Meager. Just announced and designated the first herd of special interest, which is essentially a government-backed management framework for the Wapiti. So their
oh.
Wapiti is in Fjorden National Park. So they needed to get the legislation changed so that you could actually designate a herd of special interest in a national park. But really, it's a mechanism by which now these guys, the Fjorden Wapiti Foundation and the Wapiti, are now essentially free from persecution from a forest and bird. It's almost like the right to hunt and fish
Hmm.
quasi, all right? But it's huge. It is absolutely like amazing. The Wapiti is a red deer elk cross. That's specifically now this essentially this cross that they maintain its genetics, and they do almost like quality deer management on it. They harvest the hinds, but the environment in which these guys live is only described as the Amazon on top of the Himalayas.
Huh.
Super wet. It's like 2.5 meters of rainfall a year.
Mm.
It's U-shaped valleys. It's, ferns and moss and huge trees, and then you get up into the tops, which are like tundra, tussocks kind of thing.
Huh.
Yeah.
Fascinating. I've actually shot a red deer elk uh, hybrid in
Oh,
West
nice.
Texas on a free range elk hunt.
Yeah.
Massive thing. Yeah. And
Yeah.
but I mean, I didn't know what it was when I shot it. I just saw a bunch of mass. Well, here's the disclaimer: I didn't know they had red stag out there.
Mm.
I'm hunting a 100,000 acre free range ranch
Hmm.
for a
You
West
never
Texas
know.
elk.
In West Texas, you never know what's gonna
Yeah,
walk by.
yeah. And so we saw this animal jump out, and as quick as it jumped out, I mean, dude, we're hunting for 4 days, haven't seen anything that even piqued my interest. And all I saw was this thing almost. You know how an animal gets afraid and they make a bad decision? He almost ran into the truck, and then he was just as quick as he turned around and ran back in the brush. And we're on a sagebrush flat with like 100, like a football sized area of shrubs. Everything else just flat. And so you wouldn't have expected anything to be there anyway. And we're driving from the ranch is so big, we're driving from this mountain range to this mountain range. And we're just driving across the range. And the guide starts yelling, "Shoot him, shoot him, shoot him." I'm like, well, if there's one thing I've learned, it's like
Listen to the guide.
listen to the guide, right? You're going on a
When
guide
they
hunt.
get excited, you know something's
Yeah.
different.
And all I saw was mass, and I was like, sweet. Well, I didn't know that he had a crown on one side. And all I could see was his front shoulder through the brush. And I was like, all right, dude, I'm on him. He's like, shoot him. Shoot him. And I'm like, huh, this is interesting animal. Not an elk, not a red stag. But yeah, one of the other guys, he was like, yeah, they can't bugle either. They make this weird chuckle half bugle thing. It's really a funny sound.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
But yeah, cool experience and trophy and phenomenal meat anyway. Um, so one other thing to hit on, you told me, and I know you don't like to talk about your private hunting life, but
Mm.
we've already had the story of, when you got your grandfather's gun,
Mm.
and you saw it on. Did you find it on social media? Is that how that
Yeah,
happened?
a professional hunter, a guy called James Lismore, who is the professional hunter for Paul Stones, was hunting feral cows in the Free State.
Uh-huh.
Did you know they had feral cows in the Free State that you could hunt?
No. Uh-uh.
Um, and they were sitting around a campfire doing the typical thing and storytelling, and Rudy like picks up the gun and says, "Do you know who this gun belonged to?" And James is like, "No." It's like belonged to a guy called Leo Kroger, and proceeded to tell the story. And James was like, who'd you say? Leo Kroger? I said, yeah. He goes, that's Robbie Kroger's grandfather. He goes, I don't know who Robbie Kroger is. James was like, I know who he is. And that was that, dude. It was
Yeah.
an ordeal of ordeals. We can't get into the story because it'll take up the entire podcast. But I
Yeah.
have the gun and we're going to use it. We're going to shoot it. We're going to shoot it. I haven't shot it. I haven't even shot it yet.
Oh wow.
So I'm going to shoot it at the local shooting range with my boys. Try and get somebody to film it because again, I've never shot the gun, and it's 70 years old right now.
It's a 375?
416 Rigby caliber.
416 Rigby. Okay.
It's a
Awesome.
Mahillian barrel. It's a Belgian barrel with a beautiful checkered Belgian American walnut stock. Um, It's got a cheek piece, it's got a cheek weld. It's the old Mauser action, so it's got the flip over safety in a 416 Rigby caliber, and it's got these stamps all along the side of the gun, like it's got the Rigby stamp to say
Hmm.
it's a Rigby caliber.
Yeah.
It's got all these like Belgian stamps of the Belgian gun maker.
Wow.
Um, yeah, it was built, we think, in the early 50s, 51, 52, 53-ish.
Oh, that's cool.
And yeah, I get to hunt with it. I'm going to
Yeah.
shoot it, and then I'm going to hunt a buffalo this year. And the ultimate with that gun, like if you said to me, like, what is the ultimate bucket list? The ultimate bucket list is my grandfather hunted a place called Cutada 4 in Mozambique, which is on the Save River. Currently, it's not a Cutada that has an operator in it. Zanavi National Park is in the Kutada. It's doing very, very well. Buffalo, I've heard, are spilling out of the national park, so there's legit buffalo in the Save River Valley, and that's where Robert Ruark had his camp with Safarilandia back in Mozambique. And yeah, the ultimate would be take this gun, walk the same riverbanks that my grandfather walked with that same gun, and shoot a buffalo where he shot buffalo.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and if you want to hear the whole story about how Robbie got that gun, you can look it up on the website. It's a fascinating conversation. But yeah, that will be coming full circle.
Full
When you,
circle.
yeah. Um, in
Can't
having a
wait.
conversation with Carl Van Sale, and you're obviously friends and have done some work with the John X Foundation. And I think you're doing another project because
Yep.
um,
There's
I
another
was
soccer
kind of
field going in
bummed.
right now.
I
Right
was
now.
bummed.
Like
I
as
was
we
bummed
speak.
about it. I was personally bummed, and
Why?
and my son was bummed because we had been to that school close to Bloemfontein
Mm,
where the original project was going to take place.
that's right. That's right.
And Carl was telling me this because I was in South Africa in early June,
Mm,
and I was like, "Hey, how's that school?" Because Henry loved the hunting. His favorite thing though was playing soccer with those kids at that school. Like
yeah.
this was like, Dad, this was the best thing ever. He's like, I don't know what language these kids are speaking. It didn't matter. There's a soccer ball, and this is my jam. This is. They say it's the beautiful game, and it is, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Um, but yeah, he loved that. But then they were going to put in a new kitchen and build a sports court, and then all of a sudden the government's like, we're not funding that school anymore. That lady, the teacher had been there for like 25 plus years. And they
Yeah.
just pulled the plug on this rural school. It's like, no, we don't have the money anymore. So they had to
Yeah.
pivot to another school.
Yeah. Baroda.
Yeah, and you guys are going to document everything that takes place because Carl raised the money for the sports court and the
Yeah. It's a
kitchen.
gunworks project. We
Yeah,
put we've done the kitchen. Kitchen was we put a bunch of money into the kitchen. But the soccer field, the new soccer field at Baroda is with Gunworks. It's a Gunworks project. Um, just amazing to do that. And again, what I love about soccer, and you just nailed it with your son, it's the beautiful game. It's this intangible that comes from hunting, right? It's this, you can't really, how do you give people joy? How do you give people happiness? Well, you can't. You can't like buy that. You can't, but
hmm.
you put a soccer field down with a soccer ball and the smiles, you just can't deny it, right? And the teachers are saying our absenteeism has gone down, right? Because the
Oh
kids now
yeah,
want to come to school because they want to
yeah.
play soccer.
Yeah, they'll go sit through an 8-hour school day for 30 minutes of recess.
That's right.
Yeah, yeah, it's worth it to them.
Yep.
And a hot meal too, which again, a lot of times is provided. That sustenance is provided from protein that hunters have taken, and all of this extracurricular stuff, for like through the John X Foundation. This is not coming from, you go on your safari, you pay your bill at the end of the thing. That's not where this is coming from. This is additional.
Hmm.
Hunters have gone to these places and seen it and said, I want to invest in these kids.
Hmm.
I want to do more. How can I do more? What does it
Hmm.
cost? Here's a check.
Hmm.
And that's when
Yeah,
people
we
say
like
hunters
to,
give back. Yeah, we do. It's not just this cliche thing that we say.
yeah, we like to call them proofs. These are the proofs of what hunting is doing indirectly as a result of you cable going to hunt with John X. Here is what happens as a result of you hunting with an operator or an outfitter. And at the end of July, we're going to have a big press release. We're going to announce a new program, a new series called 100 Proof.
Hmm.
So play on alcohol a little bit,
Yeah.
and we will have 100 examples from around the world of what hunting has done. And then we'll go to 200 proof and 300 proof and 400 proof and 500 proof.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to be cool.
Awesome. One other interesting thing about just talking with Carl over that most recent safari, he told me how John X started, and I never really connected these dots because you mentioned Ruark. I've got his books right here in the studio. Um, Teddy Roosevelt, Hemingway. These guys didn't go on safari in South Africa. It was really Kenya closing hunting in the 70s that opened the door for South Africa to become really the mecca of African hunting. And
All
South Africa's
places,
like,
even Botswana.
yeah, It's like the
Very,
gateway
very
drug.
few people hunt in Botswana until they
Hmm.
closed down Kenya.
Really? Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. But I never even thought about that. So,
Well,
um,
there was the multiple things. It was the shutting down, right? It was the change in ownership of wildlife in South Africa with the Game Theft Act that came into effect in 1991, which meant that if you had a certificate of enclosure, that wildlife belongs to you.
mm,
It's a private model. And so that's what boomed wildlife. And then, to be honest, I don't know if he told you this, but Carl and obviously Rick was involved, but Rick and Carl and John X were the first outfitter operator that was like, hey, why don't we package animals together? Why don't we build packages of animals
mhm.
and sell packages of animals? And that's what really set off the whole what you typically see in South Africa today.
Yeah. Well, well, that was in the '90s when they had a place. When Rick started in the '80s, and this is so fascinating too. He said you'd get on a phone with someone in the States and they'd say, my flight arrives on this day. And then Rick would sit there sometimes for 3 days and wait for him because if their flight's delayed, you don't have a cell phone.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah,
know. He's just like
yeah.
the guy, he's a hunter. So we're kind of men of our words. He's going to be here. And so eventually they'd get there and they would take a checklist of animals, throw it on the dashboard, and they check them off and they drive all over South Africa on the Eastern Cape, wherever, and it wasn't an experience like when you go to Tanzania or when I took my son to South Africa or the other times I've been over there. You weren't going for an experience. You're going because you're a collector and
Hmm.
you're checking these things, and that is something that has fundamentally shifted among international hunters. I would say yes, there are people that are chasing Weatherby Award, right, or they want to shoot everything. That still exists, but the average guy not going there with like, yeah, you have
No,
an idea of
exactly.
what you want to shoot, but you're going for an experience. I mean, that
I
is
agree.
totally
I think
different.
that's something that we probably haven't even utilized more of from a feather perspective is that people argue like, oh, you guys are just a bunch of killers, but it's a good point. I think if you surveyed the hunters, the hunting fraternity that goes to South Africa, the mostly the first timers, they're going because they want to experience it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. I mean, I know I did, and and the first time I went nuts. I shot like 12 animals in my first safari, and then the last time I shot four. You know, I've shot a lot of the stuff. Some of them I'm repeating now. But I don't want to stop going, and I want to hunt kudu every year, kind of like elk. You know,
Hmm.
that's
Hmm.
I just love it.
Hmm.
But yeah, it's about the experience and a lot more. And I think the SCI has done a good job embracing that shift because you know they had the record book right, and it's still pertinent because that's recorded history, and that's a great reference point of being like, well, what was this species doing in that area in that year? Is it worse? Is it better? Um, but I don't think guys are, and you can correct me if you're wrong, if I'm wrong, but I don't think guys are chasing the record book these days to where, even when I first started out, guys would go to a high fence ranch, shoot something, be like, oh, I got the biggest one in the world. I don't see that as much anymore. And,
No, look, and I people, you know, it's an element that the antis use against us, which is, oh, these guys, record the numbers. That's what they're after. They're chasing the inches, whatnot. But it all started, that's why Boone and Crockett exists. That's why the record book at SCI exists, is that at the end of the day, when you mine the data, it's a measurement of health
Mhm.
of the actual wildlife and the species. Is it doing better? Is it doing worse? Is it growing? Is it not growing? Which is all indications of the habitat quality, ecosystem integrity, all those things.
Mhm.
So I'm a big fan of that, and I agree with you. I don't think that, you're obviously always looking for a mature representative of the species, but you're not saying, this again, yeah, totally agree with you as well. There are certain people that are obsessed with the records. It is what it is.
Mhm.
But for the vast majority, they're not.
Yeah. Um, what, where, what part of South Africa did you grow up in?
Joburg,
Do they have mountain reed buck around anywhere near there?
eight
I'm
and a
gonna.
half million people. Nobody even talks about hunting. You barely saw an animal. We even worked in like little nature reserves inside of Joburg, and there might have been the odd like Klipspringer or whatnot, or that
Really?
was it, or Huss or Dusty, but that was it. Yeah, there was
But
no,
like, but on the outskirts, like if you got out into
no,
no,
no, no,
huh?
no. You
Wow.
went to the lion park, saw petted lions. We were part of the whole petting lion industry.
Ugh. See, that's so foreign because in the United States, you drive 30 minutes outside of the city. Oh, there's a white-tailed deer. Whatever.
Nothing,
Yeah.
nothing. Not a single. Well, again, you've got to remember we have a lot of poor people too, right?
Mhm.
So the idea of anything surviving is probably slim to none.
Which is why the privatization of wildlife is so
Right,
important
right.
in South Africa,
Yeah.
or Africa. Some of the other
I just
countries of the
look,
world.
I think privatization of the wildlife is, it's a different model than obviously the North American. Um, but it works very well
Hmm.
for that
Hmm.
model, for that system.
Well, so why I asked about the mountain reedbuck is because that's the only animal that Carl and I have ever shot where he was like, "Please put this in the record books." It was a 9.25 inch mountain reedbuck. He's never even killed one over 8, and he's been hunting them. He's 44 years, 43 years old. He's like, "This is the animal. This is like your white-tailed deer. This is the thing that, as a
Mm-hmm.
kid growing up, this was the thing that number one, we didn't have to pay someone an arm and a leg to go shoot. The meat's really good." So he's like, "We love this thing." And before I shot it, he was like, there's a really nice mountain reed buck over here. I'm like, what is that? This is my first safari. I don't even know what that is. And how much is it? And I was like, oh, he told me the price. I was like, okay, yeah, if you're saying it's a nice one, sure. So
hmm
we shot it, and then I thought he was going to cry when he walked up on it. Like
hmm
literally, it was like a very emotional thing for me. Like he's like, I can't even believe how big this animal is. I'm like, what? It's like how many inches is it? He's like 9. I'm like, okay. He's like, please shoulder mount it. Please put it in SCI record books. It's European mounted, and I never put it in the books.
Is the a lot of outfitters and operators in the Eastern Cape, the Farley to them is that animal,
Oh yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's the like 9 inch, 9.5 inch, 10 inch mark of the straight horns just sticking up
Oh
like the
yeah.
holy grail, right? And people have gone. I know I talked to Rad Robinson about it. He said, I think Kevin Brittingham's been chasing a 9 inch Farley for forever.
Mm-hmm.
And one of his employees went to Africa as a company trip. Second animal shoots like a 9 and 3/4 Farley.
Yeah, yeah. Mm. Yep. Well, let's shift gears a little bit. And while I was in Tennessee, you sent me a link to a Nat Geo story.
Exactly.
It was pretty interesting, and it got me thinking. Like I read it, and I was like, "Well, this is cool. Well done, Origins Foundation." But there's more
hmm
to this, and it was about cheetahs. I'm like, that's an
hmm
animal that we as hunters don't really talk about,
Yeah.
and I think it's because we don't hunt them. I mean,
Right.
that's
There's only
the
one place you can hunt them. You can't export them, but
yeah,
that's
is that
Namibia.
yeah, Namibia.
hmm
And so you can't export them. So I mean, there's no real value for a hunter. He's like, oh, I can't bring my trophy back. And some guys still shoot the polar bears. If I had the resources to do
Sure.
that, I probably would. But I was thinking, if you could hunt cheetahs, would it be the big six? And then it led me down a Google rabbit hole. I was like, have cheetahs ever killed a person? And the answer is no. There's no in recorded history a cheetah.
hmm hmm
Not like if you walked into a cage, they've attacked people. That's different. Just captive. Now, and that's very rare. But in recorded human history, no one can point to a cheetah killing a human being, and so
Yeah.
they probably wouldn't be the big six because the allure and the stigma attached to those animals is these things can kill you, and they do.
hmm Yeah. Very, very underrated carnivore. Very timid. So it's probably why it's not in sort of a species. It's not an excitable species to hunt either.
Hmm.
Like in Namibia, you go hunt a scent tree, a marking tree that they go and they'll frequent. They'll climb on top of to sort of look at the landscape. You don't bait them in. There's no real danger involved. Even in a cage scenario, we've got a male cheetah right now that we think, well, we're trying to get a permit to move him. Um, and the vet staff are like, this is the spiciest male like we've ever had.
Hmm.
He's just aggressive. As soon as you open that cage with the meat, he's coming. Like he know, like but you still go in the cage. It's not like a lion, right? Where it's like we're not even stepping in, we're throwing it over the fence,
Yeah.
right? No, cheetahs, you go in. But they're just incredible animals and they're just totally different from a conservation perspective. They don't do very well in places that have no other that have predators like lions and hyenas because they get smashed. And then in sort of conservation projects like ours, you've got to be very cognizant of finding cheetahs that are acclimatized sort of to lions.
Mm.
We almost call them like lion. What's the word I'm looking for? Lion sensitized cheetah, i.e., they know if a lion comes to their kill, you're not going to defend it. You're
It's not
going to
your kill
leave the
anymore.
kill.
Yeah.
You're going to leave the kill. And, you start sort of exploring all these different elements of what, makes cheetahs so vulnerable, makes them one of the most endangered carnivores in Africa. It gets run off a kill, it's not coming back to the kill. It's always going to have to kill again. So it'll
Hmm.
always eat fresh. That's a cheetah. It's not like a lion, it's not like a leopard, it's not like a hyena. It's not a scavenger. It'll never scavenge. It has to be fresh meat. They'll eat as much as they can in one sitting and then they'll leave.
Ah, okay. Interesting. Interesting. Um, I think the other thing, and this was something I read too, which very obvious, but not something to think about. When these man-eating, whether it's a lion or a leopard or in India, tigers, Jim Corbett made a living dealing with man-eating tigers and leopards. And I'm assuming you probably have read some of his
Yeah,
books, but
yeah,
I have his omnibus, and it
yeah, same.
details all of these man eaters that he was paid basically by the Indian government to go in and kill. And some of these, one of these leopards killed like over 100 people.
Hmm.
And there was one tiger that had a like a missing toe. It was tigress, killed over 100 people. And so you're not talking about like, oh, it's just this one person they killed. No, these are going in and destroying communities. So he's dealing
Hmm.
with them. Um, never had to deal with a cheetah. But
That's right.
where I was going was cheetahs are diurnal, so they hunt during the day. A
That's
lot of
right.
these man eaters are dragging people off at night or at dusk.
Yeah.
You know,
And they're
uh,
pretty based on, if you look at the coloring data about cheetah, they're pretty much like they lock down in a place at night. They don't roam. They don't like wander and whatnot. They just sort of hang out in one place. They may move a little bit around, but they don't like move like a lion because they're not hunting, right? They're just like
mhm,
chilling, waiting.
mhm, mhm. But so the lions will kill them, hyenas will kill them. I saw a
Leopards.
video. I saw a viral video of this cheetah
Oh,
getting
yes.
smoked by a leopard, and
Yep.
there's people in a safari jeep that are filming it. And this was some famous cheetah, but old. It was older
Yeah.
aged,
I think it
and
was
the
in the
leopard,
Mara. Yeah.
yeah, just smoked it. And I was like, I didn't even realize they're so fast. You think they were elusive, uh, but this is actually a species that's pretty fragile.
Pretty fragile. Not many of them. I think the total population is about 3,000 in Africa. They also have some genetic issues in that they were bottlenecked 15,000 years ago in their genetic history, which the scientists believe went down to either four or eight individuals. So
Mm.
if you take a DNA analysis of a wild cheetah in Namibia and you compare it to the cheetah that's in San Diego Zoo, for example, they're almost like identical from a
Huh.
genetics perspective. And
Interesting.
so one of the things that you do in cheetah conservation is you want to move cheetahs around from different reserves. You want to keep moving them. And it's not that you can't really help what the bottleneck is. You can't change that. There's no changing that today.
Yeah.
But you do need to reduce as much inbreeding depression as possible. So F1, F2, F3 generations, if they all stick in the one reserve, you're getting, multiple inbreeding scenarios, mom, daughter, son, sister, you know, brother, sister, that kind of stuff.
Mm. So, talk a little bit about how you got involved with this Nat Geo project. And I had seen some of the stuff leading up to this that you'd been working with these cheetahs before the Nat
Yeah.
Geo piece came out. But how did you get plugged in? And I think the very important thing to mention is again, this is not a species that we hunt. by and
Right.
large. You can hunt
Right.
them if you want to. Namibia can't import them, so really, very few people are doing that.
Yeah.
But yet, here's one of the foremost leaders in conservation investing in the species that we can't hunt, and that once again just proves that hunters are conservationists, regardless of whether we can hunt it or not.
Well, to your point, the when you if you had to ask me at the beginning of this podcast, Robbie, what is your objective from an Origins Foundation perspective? Like what is it? What is the strategic objective of what you do? That strategic objective is owning the narrative. We want to own the narrative around what hunting is, who hunters are, what we do on the landscape for people, wildlife, and communities. That's all we do. And so 2.5 years ago, almost 3 years ago to the day now, I got a message. We'd obviously been working with operators and outfitters all throughout Africa. And I got a message from somebody who we were working with in Mozambique, Justin Rogers at Safaris de Mozambique. And he says, Robbie, I've got this idea. We just came across a cheetah in our area, one male cheetah. And then they saw him 3 months later. And he started a conversation with an organization in South Africa called the Meta Population Initiative. And the guy that was leading the Meta Population Initiative at the time was a guy called Vincent van der Merwe. And Vincent was looking for big landscapes to introduce cheetahs into. Dan Cabela had just started thinking about cheetahs. He moved 11 cheetahs or 12 cheetahs up into Mark Haldane's place in the Zambezi. There had been a cheetah relocation into Benguela swamps in Zambia that was a dismal failure. The India project was starting to kick off, that they were starting to move cheetahs into India. And Vincent was the guy. He was the lead, the spear tip of this like expansion of cheetah habitat, like major expansion.
These guys are hunting operators. Cheetahs
Hunting
eat.
operators.
These guys, cheetahs eat their product.
Yeah,
Just putting that out
100%.
there.
100%. And more, and obviously you want more cheetah, right? You don't just put cheetah and expect them to stay the same. You expect their population to grow. But what we're learning is that these cheetahs in these big open range systems, they just go wherever they want, man. And that's why I've probably got more gray hair today than I had 6 months ago or a year ago. We've got one girl right now that's sitting in a boma in Zambia because we had to catch her. She's walked 1,700 kilometers.
Wow.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that's just 900 miles or 1,000 miles or something like that. It's unbelievable. But we just made the decision as an organization, as a project, I'll get back to but we made a decision that when we did this project, we were truly going to embrace the idea that we're expanding cheetah habitat. So this one cheetah, this male cheetah, started this chain reaction of events that was like, hey, we can bring cheetah here. Like we can bring it here. It's protected. It's got great prey. It's got great wildlife. The impala population is through the roof there. There's thousands and thousands of impala on the floodplain of Kabora Bassa and Zambezi River. It's got no ticks. The environment has no ticks, so it's great for cheetahs. Yes, there's a big wet, but there's also a big long dry, which would be great for cheetahs. Open Miombo habitat, it's perfect. And it's 500,000 acres, so it's 220,000 hectares, but it connects into a 10 million acre corridor all the way up the middle Zambezi River in Zimbabwe. So if you're familiar with Zimbabwe, right on the edge is Dandy, Charlton McCullum Safaris. Then you've got Chirara. Then you've got Sapi and Reefer, which are non-hunting areas. Then you got Chirezi, not Chirara. Then you've got Mana Pools, which is a really famous national park in Zimbabwe. To the north of it is Nakasanya, which is hunted as well. And then to the west of that is Chirara, that's also hunted.
Hmm.
So you've got this huge connectivity of habitats that are protected that cheetahs can move in. And we know that there's a couple of cheetah in that landscape. The Wild Crew team out of Oxford, England, did a carnivore study in the Middle Zambezi area. And I think they had like 1,000 trap nights, but they only spotted 3 cheetah.
Hmm.
So it's not like they're not there. It's not like the habitat's not good enough for them. They weren't there. And so we just started down this road, and Justin we got to the point where it's like, all right, this is viable. Like we could do this. But then the penny dropped, Cable, and the penny drop was, oh, we need $500,000 to do
Hmm.
this. Like that's how much it's going to take. And with Vincent's recommendation, He was like, look, if you're going to move 8 cheetah, which is typical, you're going to lose 40% of them within the first 12 months. Translocation, because they're a timid species, right?
Yeah.
They're also, when you move a cheetah, unlike a lion, unlike a hyena, unlike a leopard, you move them awake. So you have to put them in crates and they have to be heavily sedated. And because they're a heat sensitive species, so you can't keep them asleep for more than 45 minutes at a time. Otherwise, they'll die.
Oh wow. Hmm.
So you've got all of the anxiety of like moving cheetah. You've got this mortality thing that is not only the transport, but darting, going in, them waking up, coming out. Once you release them on the landscape, are they going to get snared? Are they going to get eaten by lions, hyenas, leopards? Are they going to disappear? It's just tough. It's an uphill battle to start with.
Hmm.
And so Vincent was like, let's move 18 cheetah.
So
This is
where do we get 18 cheetah?
well, you get them from the meta population reserves in South Africa. So, just like any other wildlife species, these small game reserves, 10,000 acres fenced, 20,000 acres fenced, 50,000 acres fenced. Some of them have lions, some of them don't. Those that don't have very prolific cheetah populations. Those that do, some are source populations for cheetahs, others are sinks, i.e., there's not many cheetah coming out of it. But again, just like any wildlife, a cheetah is going to reach a population number that the reserve's like, hey, we got too many cheetah.
Hmm.
We need to move them. Let's find some homes for these cheetah. And up until now, luckily, there has been lots of places that are looking for homes for cheetah because, hey, who doesn't want to see a cheetah on a game drive and see cute
Hmm.
baby cubs and all that kind of stuff? Um, and these big habitat range expansion projects are pulling a lot of that excess off right now. And if you look at the non-detrimental finding of cheetahs out of South Africa, I think the annual export quota out of South Africa is about 40 cheetah, 30 males and 10 females.
Hmm.
So that's how many cheetahs they can comfortably move out of these reserves, export them out of the country, and not have a detriment to the cheetah population of South Africa, which is in the meta population system is sitting about 650, 700 animals,
Okay. Okay.
maybe way less than you thought.
Yeah.
Um, but if you don't do these big range expansion projects and you don't have new reserves coming online, what's going to happen? Well, the green liquid will happen, which is okay, we can't find homes for our 5 cheetah that we're over our capacity on. Let's bring the vet in, we'll dart the cheetah, and we'll euthanize the cheetah,
Yeah. Uh,
which is weird because it's one of the most endangered carnivores in Africa. And you're going to get to a point where you're going to have to euthanize them if you don't do big projects like these. So,
Interesting. Where does Kenya factor into this? When I think of Kenya, I think of cheetahs for some reason.
yeah, yeah, they need cheetah. Tanzania needs cheetah. But that cheetah as I understand, it's a different subspecies.
Huh.
And there's you know, with academics and researchers, and especially in the conservation community, there's a big furor like, no, 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 you can't bring those southern cheetahs up in here. It's an
Hmm.
East African cheetah subspecies or whatnot. Okay. Um,
Wow.
but there's plenty of opportunity. I'll just
Hmm.
say that there's plenty of opportunity. I saw cheetah actually in Laikipia when I was there in Kenya, at the end of May, early June.
Well, so now
So,
we've got these 18 cheetah
mhm.
that we're moving, and this is what the Nat Geo piece is real about. And it was I forget the title. It was something hours 18
53
cheetah,
hours,
53
53
hours.
hours. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And so when you think about cheetah movements and relocating cheetah and whatnot, your ideal window of time is like a 20 to 24-hour move. So like the India cats was a 22-hour move.
Hmm.
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. To darting a cheetah to it being released out of its crate in its home, 20 to 24 hours is what you want. Okay. Ours went 53 hours.
Wow.
And so we were breaking this whole move. which is what I think the thing I'm
What was
most
it
proud.
supposed to be? Like, what was the goal? I know it wasn't 53. We had a truck breakdown.
20, it was supposed to be 20 to 24
Okay,
because
that was
here's
the
the
goal.
reason why. Here's the reason why. 48 hours before the first lot of 12 cheetah were going to move, we had a late, and this is May, this is late, I think it was mid-April, late April, early May. The wet's finished. Like there shouldn't be any rain. And we're landing on a dirt strip in the middle of nowhere with a caravan. Actually, it was an Embraer. And within 48 hours of us moving the first 12 cheetahs, they got 50 mils of rain
Hmm.
on the runway and turned it into essentially a mud pit. And we couldn't land the airplane anymore. And so there was no way, there was no turning back. Like all the wheels were in motion, all the transport was in motion, everything was in motion. So we just said, okay, plan B, which we had already. We had planned for every contingency. Plan B, we moved the cheetah by land with trucks. And again, we had done our recon work and we had asked somebody, have you driven the road? Yes, I drove the road. How long? 12 hours. Okay, no worries. Well, that road from 12 hours took 25 hours.
Mm. Hmm.
And along that road, like literally the vehicles pulled out of off the tarmac through the gate of the airport, and one of the vehicle's radiators bust right away.
Mm.
And then we had a crash, and then we had another crash, and then we had a flat tire. And the saving grace, and this is hot, this is May, right? Late April, early May. This is hot.
Yeah.
Mozambique's hot. Saving grace at like the 39-hour 40 mark, it starts raining. Cools everything down, cools the cheetahs down. And the cheetahs had at that point had just resigned themselves. They're like, all right, we're just in this cage. Like we're just here. Because they start messing around, they start getting anxiety, they start banging themselves against the cage, like, get us out of here. And they just decided, and the vets are like, we just have no idea. We've never topped up a cheetah this much with a sedative because we've never had to.
Yeah.
We've never been in this uncharted waters.
Mm.
Nobody's ever moved 18 cheetah. Nobody's ever moved them and had them under sedation for that much time. Nobody's had such an epic journey. Nobody's had to cross the Zambezi River with cheetahs on motorboats, then put them on canoes and have the locals paddle a cheetah at a time over the Panyami River that's full of of crocodiles that eat humans.
Right.
And then put them on a tractor because that's the only vehicle on the other side because there's nobody. We didn't expect so much water, right? We were going to get the vehicles through the river easy.
Oh, wow.
But then tractor all the cheetahs to the boma. It just, and then you put a bingo board in front of your cable and you say, okay, I'm going to put all the things on the bingo board that are going to go wrong. Half the things I've already described, you haven't guessed. Okay. But the one that you would never guess is that 10 days before we moved our cheetahs, Vincent, the guy who started this all, the guy that was like this, the Mad Hatter, like the dude thrived in chaos. Like I remember moving cheetah with him. It is 1 o'clock in the morning. We're coming through a village in the middle of the Northern Cape. We've just gotten the trucks unstuck out of huge Kalahari sand. And the guy went into the shebeen to get Black Label quarts of beer. And the vehicle's surrounded by like community people. And it's 1 in the morning. I'm saying, Vincent, what are you doing? Oh, come on, it's cheetah education. The dude was out of his mind.
Huh.
Okay. But in these like times of chaos, like relocation is chaos. I don't do well in those situations. I'm a planner, like I want everything to go according to plan. The worse it got, the more out of sync it got, the better Vincent did.
Huh.
And yeah, 10 days before the cheetah move, he decided to commit suicide.
Oh, wow. Mm.
And so he committed suicide in Saudi Arabia. He was doing a cheetah project there. And we woke up to the news on Wednesday. Um, and, just as either was him or a silver lining to this whole thing, I received a video of like a teaser of the project on that Wednesday morning. And in the middle of that teaser is him and our vet like bear hugging each other. And the bear hug is so significant to us because we'd had so many things go wrong. And that morning we were trying to find three cheetah to dart, and we couldn't find them. The pings didn't come through. The satellite collars weren't working. Nothing was working, and we almost left. We said, well, let's just give it one more go. And at 2:30, the ping came in of where the cheetahs were. And that evening, we darted three cats in 45 minutes.
Mm.
And the bear hug was like the vet and Vincent like celebrating, like this is going to happen, like we're doing this. And I presented that video to DSC South Texas to raise some money for cheetahs. And like I got emotional. I was crying because literally it was like 4 days old that the guy had committed suicide. And I had to explain to the whole crowd like why I was so emotional and why this thing just meant so much to me. Um, and unbelievably, we raised $250,000 that
Wow.
night for the project from two incredible donors, a lady out of San Antonio, Shannon Rolston, guy called Ben Wolf out of Bernie, Texas, and Ben and Julie Wolf. And it was like him looking down, going, see, it
Mm.
was all meant to be.
Mhm.
Um, and and obviously the culmination of this whole thing, like we're a year into this project now, things have gone really wrong and things have gone really right, and we just happened to come across this writer, Katie Hitchcock Smith, who fell in love with the story that I've just told you. And she said, I've got in contact at Nat Geo. Do you think that would you be willing for me to pitch the story to them? I said,
Mm.
I said, of course. And it's such a process to like get something published with Nat Geo, as you can imagine, especially somebody like us who's pro sustainable use and pro
Mhm.
hunting. And but we did it. We absolutely fucking did it. And the other cherry on top of that article was that we used the article to announce that we have cubs on the ground a year after the project started. So we have three cubs on the ground with one of our females.
Mm.
Um, so we've lost cheetah. Obviously, we've lost a male and two females, and so we've replaced the cheetahs we've lost with the cheetah cubs, and hopefully, again, cheetah mortality in cubs is about 90%. But
Uh,
if you get a super mom looks after their cubs, and so far so good. We're at like 80-day mark with our three cubs, and they're still alive.
wow. So if so when were the cheetah put on the ground?
May of 25.
If someone would have told you you're going to lose 3 out of 18, would you have taken that?
Oh,
And
any
within a
day of the
year?
week, any day
Yeah.
of the week. It's 17%. We've beaten the mortality odds,
Yeah.
especially with a 53-hour journey.
Yeah.
Like I get goosebumps talking about it. Look here.
So when did the first one die though? From the
We
journey or
lost, yeah, from the journey. We lost a female, but even the vet was worried about her because in vet terminology, if a cheetah goes down well, it travels well. And so the whole darting experience is needs to be as sort of still and chaos free and peaceful as possible. Which is why you train these cheetahs in the boma to when you put you have typically Hessian, around the areas where you come in, you put the feed down, you get the meat down and you back off and they come to the meat, right? You just train them that way. So that
Mhm.
when the time comes for you to dart them again, to put them in the crates to move them, that's all you do. You put the meat in, they come to the meat, you dart, it's done.
Mhm. Mhm.
And he just said that she did not go down well. Took a while. She got agitated. That's the other thing. If they, if you come in too early and they're not fully asleep and they wake themselves up, it's almost like they have an ability to sort of synthesize the adrenaline within their system has the ability to synthesize the drug that is putting them under,
Mhm.
which then means you have to dart them again, it's just again, like I
Yeah,
started this conversation, it's so many things could go wrong.
So obviously I've never been around cheetah darting,
Mm,
but I have
mm,
darted a rhino,
hmm
and there was a lot of anxiety about that because if the rhino, literally, we had three trackers behind the rhino holding it up while we're taking photos, in the veterinarians there drawing blood, all this stuff. Like if that rhino goes down on its side, it
Yep.
could collapse its lung,
Yeah.
fill up with fluid, whatever it was. It could cause a respiratory disaster. The rhino could die.
And
And so
rhinos are super sensitive too.
I
Super
didn't,
sensitive. Like the vets hate it.
yeah, I didn't enjoy that experience as much as I would have because that thought was always in the back of my mind.
Mm,
I
mm.
don't want this thing to die, right? Then if it dies, this isn't conservation. For now, I don't know. So I'm happy I was able to put my hands on a rhino and have the experience and whatnot. But I'm not telling anyone whether or not they should or should not Vita dart a rhino. But it was a little lacking because I was like, well, that thought was always dancing in the back of my mind. It's like this
Yeah,
thing.
it's such a big species that you think from a vet perspective, a darting perspective, it's super easy,
Mm,
but it's not. They've got that respiratory issue is like, ask any vet, like, do you enjoy darting a rhino? They'll tell you no, because the chances of something going wrong are quite high.
yeah. Well, so wonderful that this project has been a success, and so we're past the year mark now. And we've lost three adults. We've replaced them with three cubs, which
We got
is
one adult in Zambia.
he's
That's
just
going to
gone off the
join.
rails, huh?
She has gone off the rails, but she's going to join another cheetah project in Zambia, which is a sort of an extension of the story, an extension of the
Yeah.
project, which is awesome. Um, we've got three other permits in sort of in transit right now. So two females and a male to replace the adult two females and males that we've lost. We've also got some other tracks potentially on some other cheetahs. So we've still got a long road in front of us, Cable. Like, there's no way, shape, or form of we like can claim and stamp success on the project. The only way I stamp success in this project is when the F1 generation, which are the cubs on the ground right now, produce F2 generation.
Mm-hmm.
And once that happens, then like you pretty much become hands off on the project. You're not going to collar any cheetah anymore. You might have a couple collared just for scientific purposes. Um, But other than that, then you move on to the next big project.
Mm. Well, very cool. As we're wrapping up, go back. Historically, you mentioned that there's not a lot of genetic diversity
Mm.
in today's cheetahs, regardless of where they are on this planet. What is the main reason why they're struggling, though? I don't think it's
Habitat
that
loss.
habitat
Habitat
loss.
loss.
Where
Yeah.
do, where do where does poaching or illicit hunting, snares? That factors into everything in Africa, but
Hmm.
that's not really the limiting factor?
Yeah, it is. We've lost two of our cheetah that we've lost are to snares
Oh wow.
around their necks, unfortunately.
Hmm.
We just lost one literally 3 or 4 weeks ago. We actually got to her. We got to her and she was alive, but she had spent 2 days with a snare around her neck.
Hmm.
And once we got her in the Boma, she died overnight with kidney failure, renal failure. Um, snaring is not targeting cheetahs, it's targeting whatever it can get.
Hmm.
It's such a unselective, detrimental, destructive tool. Um, so, poaching is definitely something that is against cheetahs. Habitat loss would be number one.
Hmm.
Fragmented landscapes. These cheetah females, like we're seeing on our system, have about 1,000 kilometer sort of home range. So there's big, big, big home ranges that these open range, free range cheetahs need. But I will say this, just like I told you that you've got cheetahs that are lion sensitized cheetahs, we have a coalition of three males. We lost one of the males out of that coalition. Three males that came out of the Tualu Northern Cape system. They were roamers. These guys came out of the agricultural landscape and actually got caught by Tualu. Tualu was like, we do not want cheetahs in this landscape because of the amount of, they changed the behavior of the prey species, all sorts of things. Plus, these were wild, wild cheetahs. They weren't habituated cheetahs. I was
Hmm.
going to say domestic cheetahs, but habituated cheetahs. Um, those guys just know how to avoid humans. And they've been roaming through the Middle Zambezi. They were a pair of the coalition. There was two females and three males that decided to leave Mozambique early and went into Zimbabwe. They've hung out in Zimbabwe for like 11 months
Huh.
and they're just crews. They're roamers. They're not sedentary. They haven't set up a territory or anything, but they're a coalition and they're just super wary of humans based on their agricultural landscape experience of how they grew up.
Wow.
Um, and I think those kinds of cheetahs are the kinds of cheetahs you also want in these big open landscapes.
Yeah.
The roamers.
Uh-huh. Well, so y'all check out the Nat Geo article, 53 hours. Very cool stuff there. And
Thank you.
yeah, I wanted to just say thanks for you said something. I mean, it's your mission objective. It's we want to control the narrative.
Hmm.
Oh, this does that.
Yeah.
You know, this puts it out there in you know, a an outlet like Nat Geo. That's not a pro hunting. Uh, it could have had some hunting stuff in it in the 80s when I was a kid. Those days are long gone. Nat Geo is not pro hunting at all. And they didn't put this in there from a pro hunting perspective, but Origins Foundation is pro sustainable use. And so
Yep.
for us to have even a fingerprint, just something in front of people that might not be aware of what hunters, who we really are and what we're really about, it's profound. So yeah, thank you for that.
No, dude, it's the fact that we got the video clip of the Cubs on Nat Geo's channel,
Mm.
269 million people following them. It's had, I think, 6 million views, and we were tagged. We were tagged in the copy. So if you wanted to go see who we are, the world can see it. And it says in the title, conveying the truth about sustainable use of wildlife. It is right there. It's for the and then the website link was linked within the first 3 sentences of the article.
Yeah.
So it's where we want to be. I think everything in this world is about who you know, and we're starting to get more and more familiar with people in these circles, in the Smithsonian circles, in the Nat Geo circles, in these bigger distribution circles that can really allow us to tell our true story from a sustainable use of wildlife perspective, which is strategically owning the narrative.
Yeah. Well, awesome stuff, man. I appreciate it as always. It was great to catch up with you. And I don't know what your next hunting adventure is, but it didn't. What are you going to do this fall? You got to take your boys out to do something. I know you've got other big stuff in the works, but
I'm going to take the boys down. I'm going to come down to Texas we've got a pretty busy calendar this fall, plus obviously all the South African Hunting Association meetings that happen in November. So I'm back down there. But in December, I'm going to come down to South Texas and hunt some deer and some pigs and some javelina with the boys for the first time.
awesome,
Yeah.
man. Well, good stuff, Robbie. I appreciate you, brother. Y'all check it out, originsfoundation.org. Is that right?
That's it.
All right. All right, man. Well, I appreciate it.
Appreciate
Have
you,
a good
Cable.
one. All
Yeah,
right.
bud.
Take it easy.